Good morning. Have you noticed lately, obviously, there's lots of divisions going on, and I'm actually all for it. I think the right is dividing, I think is absolutely necessary. I've commented about that recently. What the area I want to comment on today is more about how the US and Britain is dividing. And I'm not talking about the politicians, the geopolitics. I mean, that's just mad. And actually, I think Trump's lost his mind. I have completely given up any faith in him being anywhere near what he threatened to be and what he could have been. But I think he's just controlled. I think, yeah. Anyway, what I'm talking about is the patriots, the commenters, the content creators, the podcasters, but also us people that watch them. So I've noticed for a very long time a close connection on my videos. I don't get that many views, but even then, the interaction. There's always a few patriotic Americans, and it always seems to be like we're here for each other. We're backing each other up, and then certain channels like American channels that I've watched for a long time, and I'm not watching as much. I must admit lately, like Stephen Crowder, Tim Cast, that sort of thing. I don't know. I'm finding I'm less and less interested in the American point of view of what's going on, because it seems to be that this absolutely mental war started without any planning, and now they all seem to be fully supportive of it, and it feels like you weren't, though. You know what? And I guess that's probably just we're at war now, so we're at war. I've had to deal with Stephen Crowder. I love Stephen Crowder, and I watch his show a lot, even when he's absolutely shitting all over my country. The state we're in, because he's probably right. We are in a mess, but to expect us to be able to just support yet another war, or another never-ending war where loads of British soldiers are going to get just disposed of. No, no. And I just at the moment, when I'm putting diesel in my car, it's a shade under £2 a litre. So that's going to be about, is that going to be, I haven't done exact maths on this, that's about $9 a gallon. Might be a bit more, might be a bit less than that, I'm not sure. Probably a bit more than that. Tax upon tax upon tax, and I'm supposed to give a shit about this war. Now, obviously, we've got a government that refuses to acknowledge that we even have oil and gas in abundance in the North Sea, and they won't get it, and they're going to charge us extra tax on tax for fuel levies, for green carbon taxes and all that sort of stuff. And by the way, go on the Irish, please. Oh, stand strong in this one. I really, really want you to actually make a difference here with your government, because it's going to inspire us to do something similar. But the point of this video is that I wonder how the regular commenters, so if this video picks up a couple of 200, 300 maybe views, that's what they usually end up getting. It'll be interesting if you're American. How do you feel about it? Are you still like, yeah, go Team US? Like this war, or are you, against it? Don't know. I mean, my interaction on Discord. I was on the Timcast Discord a while ago, like a couple of years ago, and they were all like saying, whenever I spoke to the Yanks, they're saying, oh yeah, well, I was like jealous of Trump. And they were saying, yeah, but you've got Nigel Farage, he's just the same. And I was like, no, I had to put them right. I say, look, Trump is the bull in the china shop. He's anti-deep state. He's not, it seems, because now he's going against everyone that sort of helped him get there, and is just sort of holding hands with deep state. So, but I was saying that all Farage wants to do is just maintain our establishment and keep things the way they're going, and just lie to us. Actually, turns out Trump and Farage are actually quite similar, but it turns out not in the way that is a good way, in the bad way, that Trump is just trying to hold together the establishment. And men like him and Farage, they just don't realise, or they do realise, whatever, and they're trying to stop the inevitable revolutions that have to take place. If unless we are going to live under the boot, it is going to have to be revolutions that do it. It's a bit like when I filled up yesterday, I had a chat with a guy in the petrol station, and I was saying, and this is real normie bloke, but I said it's coming, and he goes, yeah, it's coming. We're talking about whatever's going to happen, and I said it's like the government at the moment, they've got the boot on our neck, and they're not apologising. They're saying say thank you, and it's like they got no memory of what happens to people like Gaddafi, when the people really do have enough. And for YouTube, I'm not suggesting that's what should happen. I'm just saying history proves that does happen, and probably will again at some stage. Anyway, so should I kind of round this video up to try to make a sense? Yeah, I'm just after the Americans and the British in the comments. How do you feel about that relationship between the US and the UK? Because I feel that is a divide that probably needs to happen. Sorry, little add-on here. If my little utopia, we have our revolution, and we take back our country, and we isolate ourselves quite a lot. We make ourselves, first of all, energy and food independent, and we just we try to get our military to the point where we can just look after ourselves. Thank you very much. Just leave us alone. Maybe we get to the point where we start making enough oil that we can start exporting oil, but perhaps we wouldn't export it in dollars. What if we tried to export it in sterling, pounds sterling? Would we get the Syria, the Iraq treatment? The what Iran's getting. Would we end up getting that sort of treatment? I don't know. Be interesting. But I certainly feel that special relationship is at its very end. It can happen again. Like I say, I'm a nationist. I want all the nations to be strong and independent, all the sort of Western nations, but separate, and accept our differences. Not have the sort of the obsession with empire, really, but just say, yeah, you do what you do, we'll do what we do, we'll trade, stay out of our way, we'll stay out of your way. We will have similar sort of values, so it shouldn't be so hard if it's the people that take over the running of their countries again, and we're not run by these psychopathic globalists. I don't know. Does any of that make sense? Let me know in the comments. See you soon. Bye.